Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Marketing Insights Live. So, where have I been? Since mid-June, my life has been a whirlwind of traveling, family celebrations, and more traveling. So I haven't been able to keep doing this every Wednesday as I had originally planned. So I do apologize for that. But I am back, fresh from a week-long vacation in Vancouver. And even though I was on vacation, I just couldn't help but notice like cool marketing and communication and business stuff as I was seeing them. Now, have you been to Vancouver, or do you live in Vancouver? Even better. If you've been to Vancouver, you know that it's a big city, not just in terms of the physical size geographically. I'm not even sure if it is big geographically. I guess Metro Vancouver is, but in terms of the population, there's so many people, and economically speaking, it is a vibrant city. There's so many businesses in Vancouver, so many enterprises, and a lot of organizations and companies doing marketing and communication. So I just could not help but notice when certain companies or organizations are doing something really cool that I think we can all learn from. And so as I was thinking of the topic for today, that's what I thought I'd share with you. And I'm gonna have to share some of my holiday photos as well, because in the beginning, like the first half of my vacation or so, I really was resisting taking pictures specifically for business purposes or learning purposes. I just wanted to be on vacation mode. But eventually I figured, you know what, if I see something cool, I am going to take a picture because I'm going to want to remember it, correct? So, to back up a little bit, I just wanted to show you this really cool mug that I got from our retreat that says, "Life is short, do stuff that matters." So yes, life is short, do stuff that matters. A good reminder for all of us. So, shall we get started? And if you're watching this live, do say hello in the comments, because that is the only way I can find out who is watching live, and I want to give you a shout out. So the first thing, before I get started, turn your audio on. There is a button you can click to turn on your audio to make sure that you get my message loud and clear. Get a pen and paper, because this is not strictly a training video, but you might get an idea that you want to act on later on, and to better remember, you're going to want to write that down. If you find this video helpful, please do share it. Share the link to your friends and family who might find it helpful as well. And at any point during this video, if you have a question, and even if you're watching the recording, type your questions in the comments, because I always do come back and check so I can respond to questions. So Kim is saying hi. Hi Kim, I'm so happy that you can join me again today. So by the way, if you're new here, I'm Lexi Rodrigo. I am a content creator, content manager, blogger, and an online learner. As you can see, even when I am on vacation, I'm still learning stuff. And I love to share what I learn. So I'm happy that you're joining me for this video. So the first thing that I want to share with you is some really, really excellent branding that I saw. And technically speaking, this was not within Vancouver. It's actually in a place called Squamish, British Columbia, which is outside of Vancouver. And I think we drove maybe an hour out of Vancouver to reach this place. And it is a place called the Sea to Sky Gondola. So I just thought that this entire package and branding of this place was so excellent that I wanted to share it with you. First of all, the Sea to Sky name. It's actually named, I believe, after the highway that you need to take to get to the Sea to Sky gondola. First of all, what is a Sea to Sky gondola? This Sea to Sky gondola is a mountain, like a mountain. It's a mountain. A mountain. It's not a resort, but like a mountain activity center that you go to. So when you reach the area, there's a base camp, and you ride a gondola to reach, to go up the mountain, up to a lodge, a mountain lodge. And once you get there, there's a restaurant, there's a playground, there's a picnic area, and then there are different hiking trails that you can follow to explore the mountain. So there's a hiking trail for anywhere from beginners to intermediate to advanced climbers, and you can even climb from the base up to the mountain lodge. Like, you don't have to take the gondola. If you're physically fit and you're an experienced climber, then you can climb yourself. So yeah, it's named Sea to Sky, as I said, because of the highway that you need to take, and it got its name because for a large part of the drive, this is what you're seeing. So I took a picture from the car where you see literally sea to sky. So a lot of the drive looks like this. It's gorgeous, beautiful, breathtaking, and that's how the highway got its name, and the Sea to Sky gondola adopted that name, right? So then let me show you, once you get on top, you still, on one side of the mountain, you still see the same Sea to Sky view, right? So behind us is what is called the Howe Sound Fjord. And then more mountains. I do not know the name, unfortunately. So this is us on the view deck outside of the mountain lodge. So you see why it's called the Sea to Sky gondola. And so from here, you take trails, and even if, like, there are a lot of families there, some people with babies and strollers, some of the trails are stroller friendly. So there's something for everyone, definitely, even for people on wheelchairs. And so that is why I really, really love that branding of Sea to Sky gondola, and the tagline, I think I messed that up, of adventure by nature. I mean, isn't that just exquisite branding? And the logo, if it looks familiar, this logo is the actual mountains that you see at this place. So I just think, like, and I think like this is, the blue part is probably, let me see if I can make this bigger. The blue part is probably the fjord. I don't know. That's just what it looks like to me, right? So just excellent branding in terms of really calling to mind, like, the things that you experience, like, physically. So it's calling out to your senses, right? So what do you see, and how do you feel when you're there, which is adventure and being in the midst of nature and just seeing the beauty of nature. So I thought that's an excellent example of good branding. And of course, the place itself, your product in the first place has to be good, right? And the place itself was really great, but to have that reflected in the branding is just, it's just really excellent. Excellent marketing and excellent business. So the second thing that I'd like to share is a good example of effective communication that I observed in the Vancouver Aquarium. So this is my son and me standing outside of the Vancouver Aquarium. I have been to a number of aquariums, and the Vancouver Aquarium, I would say it's not necessarily the best one. I've been to the Ripley's Aquarium in Toronto and aquarium in Singapore, and like those places are probably better, but in terms of communicating, I felt that the Vancouver Aquarium was extremely effective. And I, to begin with, I'm already a very eco-conscious person. Like I'm conscious about, reducing our carbon footprint and reducing trash, recycling, and all that. But when I was in the Vancouver Aquarium, I felt that I became even more eco-conscious, and because of how effectively they communicated, it became even more important to me. So let me just show you like some of the ways. For example, it's weird. I'm showing you garbage cans essentially, but you know how here in Canada anyways, the segregation of waste is very widespread. So at home and even in public areas, usually you segregate your recyclables from common garbage, and in BC they segregate food garbage as well, food waste. And so that means that you don't have, you don't have after 3 weeks of not doing this, my voice is not used to speaking for a long time anymore. So as I was saying, because of the waste segregation, you don't have just the one garbage can where you throw everything. So you need to have different types of garbage cans. So then sometimes it can get confusing, even for us, like what goes where, right? And so this is how the aquarium solved that problem, is that I can even just hide my face for a bit. Instead of just having the labels, for example, food scraps, here, bottles, cans, and Tetra Paks here, landfill items here, they have the actual objects. So I hope you can see that. See, they have the actual objects there on display above the garbage can where they go. So, if you have any doubts whatsoever, you know exactly where to throw what. So I think that was just really a excellent communication right there, right? And especially for online educators, and us at Mirasee, we're all about online education. And one thing that we've learned is that no matter how clearly you think you explain something, some people are still going to misunderstand. So you have to do everything that you can to make things as clear and understandable as possible. And this is one example of how to do that. So here's another example that I thought was really great as well. And it's a combination of communication and branding and marketing. And so Gourmet Cloud Juice is just like a cute name that they came up with to refer to tap water and to make water, like water. How can you make water sexier, right? So, and marketers usually were good at doing this, right? Like fluffing things up even sometimes just to make things sexier or more exciting. And this is how they did it in the Vancouver Aquarium. So by calling tap water Gourmet Cloud Juice and explaining why they only serve tap water and not bottled water. So they say that Vancouver's tap water comes fresh from local mountains, it's purified and safe to drink. To reduce our plastic use, we only serve water from the tap. And this theme of reducing the use of plastics is carried out all throughout the rest of the aquarium, and not in a way necessarily that that's overly preachy, but in a way that really makes you care. And again, the same way of showing you, like physically, concretely, in concrete terms, just how much the use of plastics is creating a negative impact on the environment. So I thought that all of that was so effective, and that's how, even though I was already very eco-conscious, environment conscious, and conscious of plastics, for example, I do not use bottled water. I have my reusable water bottle here. At the end of my visit to the aquarium, I became even more so, like even more conscious and even more concerned about all these environmental issues. So thumbs up to the Vancouver Aquarium. Good job with your communication and advocacy. So the last thing that I wanted to show you was an example of a business doing meaningful differentiation. And this is a car sharing company called Evo. So my eldest daughter she's now an adult. She lives and works in Vancouver. She doesn't have her own car, and she uses this car sharing service called Evo to get around when she does need a car, like when she went furniture shopping, for example. And so Evo is not the first or the only car sharing in Vancouver. There's 3 other car sharing programs in Vancouver, but I thought that Evo does such a good job with differentiating itself from its competitors. So what does car sharing mean? It's not car rental. What is the difference? Well, you get to use the car like for just a few minutes or a few hours, just as needed. And there's different models of car sharing. So one model of car sharing is where you pick up the car from a certain location, and then you have to return it to that same location when you're done using it. And then there's another model. Now I forget what that model is called. There's another model called the free floating model, I think. Floating something. It has the name floating on it. But for the floating model, you pick up the car from one location, and when you're done using it, you can just leave it. You don't have to bring it to the same place where you picked it up. You can leave it in a different location within like a specific service area or zone. So for example, like I think Vancouver itself is one zone. So you pick it up anywhere in Vancouver, and then you can leave it within the same zone. So it's very convenient, right? Like if you only need the car, like to use the car one way. So for the floating model, there's 2 companies that offer that, Evo and Car2Go. Now, but Evo still is different from Car2Go, because Car2Go only offers smart cars that are 2-seaters. So smart car for 2, I believe is what they're called. So these are really teeny tiny cars that only seat 2 people. And again, for certain people, this could be perfect for them if there's just you, or you know that it's just you and your spouse, for example, who will be most likely riding in the car. Then this would be enough for you. But Evo, differentiates itself because its fleet is only Toyota Prius, so 5-seater, and they all come with a bike rack. What else? There's another kind of rack. Bike and ski racks. So, they're appealing now to people who want to car share, but who also have a really active lifestyle. Like they might want to use a car to go somewhere so they can, go skiing or go biking. So, when you differentiate like this, even though you might have a number or a lot of competitors, it becomes very easy for your ideal customer, ideal client to choose you, right? Because you're so different from your competitors, and so you will really attract only those clients who are perfect for you. So again, I thought that's just such a good example of meaningful differentiation. And anybody who's in business wants to do this, right? You want to differentiate yourself from your competitors, but you want to do it in a way that is meaningful, that actually adds value to your clients or customers. So, Evo didn't choose a Prius just for the sake of using a Prius. They really want to add value to their users and be able to have more passengers and be able to load gear and more stuff in the car. So yeah, that's what I have for you today. I'm just wondering, do you have any questions for me? If you have been to Vancouver or you live in Vancouver, let me know in the comments. And if you've seen other examples of good marketing, good communication around Vancouver, do share that in the comments. Come on. I would love to hear from you. And hey, whoever's watching, say hello. Post a comment, say hi, so I can give you a shout out and say hi back. So school's out. That's why I'm here. My children are home and they have friends over, so I thought it's easier for me to just lock myself in the room instead of having them, trying to control them and keeping them in one area of the house. Any questions, guys? Feel free to post them in the comments, even if you are watching the recording, because I will go back and reply to them. And yeah, say hello in the comments so I can say hi back. That's the only way I know who's watching this. Otherwise, if you don't have any comments or questions, then I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for spending the past 20 minutes or so with me. I hope that you got some nice information there that you can use for your business. My Aunt Mott, Aunt Grace is saying hello. Hi, thanks for watching me, Auntie. And I wonder if you've been to Vancouver. We have relatives there. So try to visit Vancouver too and see our relatives. Okay, thanks again, guys, and I hope to see you again next week, Wednesday, 11 Eastern, same time, same channel. Melody, thanks for catching up, Melody, and do watch the replay. Bye, everyone. Enjoy your day.